Well, do you have any I bonds? Do you even know what they are? Our money coach, Bill Stanley, is here to tell us why you might want to make them part of your investment portfolio. Good morning.
Good morning. Is it time to look at I bonds again? The money coach says yes. Last week I transferred some money from my online bank account, which gets a decent interest rate, to my local bank checking account, which gets 0 rate. But that account is connected to the online account where you can buy I bonds.
Let me ask you about that. Is that something you set up, or was that an option from your bank?
No, you set it up through treasurydirect.gov, where you buy the I bonds, and then you link it to your local account.
So you put it in your local account here, and it automatically buys the bonds?
Well, what happens is it's in your local account. You buy the bond on Treasury Direct. They take the money out.
Nice.
And if you sell your bond, they put the money back in.
Nice.
So, well, let's review I bonds. I bonds are U.S. government savings bonds. The I means inflation protected. There's 2 rates. There's a base rate that stays with the bond for its 30 years, and then there's an inflation rate that changes every 6 months. Now, I bonds are safe, yet they're to be a long-term investment, because if you can't get your money back in less than a year, if you cash them in less than 5 years, they take out the last 3 months of interest.
Okay.
As a money coach, I see many uses for these bonds because they are safe. They tend to be a place to put your money so it doesn't get risked in the stock market where you can lose your money. I use my I bonds as an emergency medical and dental fund and as a reservoir for long-term care expenses should I ever need them.
Well, let me ask you this about that. Are you talking like long-term, like 10 to 20 years? You're putting those bonds in for your emergency expenses down the road? Or?
Right. For the and what I'm trying to do is get 2 years' worth of nursing home care in I bonds, so that if something happens and I need it, that I can take it out. And it's not mixed with my other money, my other buckets, which I can spend as they are designated. You can also use it as a part of your emergency fund because it does get good interest rate and it's accessible. Grandma and Grandpa could use it to put money aside for the kids that go into college, the grandkids. Now, the advantage there is that they still control the money. The current rate is 4.6%. That's the inflation rate.
That's pretty good.
Unfortunately, there's no base rate with this one, but 4.6 is still pretty good. And savings bonds are not taxed at the state level, which means that the real rate is 4.82%. So that's a good way. Now, we've already gone over how to buy them. It's very easy, actually. And the Treasury Direct account is very secure. They even give you a little spy card that has A and A4 equals what number and all that. It's very secure. Because I bonds are so good and such a good deal, you can only buy $5,000 a year worth of I bonds on the Treasury Direct, plus another $5,000 through your bank. You can get paper bonds through your bank or your credit union. So they are a good deal there.
So these aren't like bonds that you have to sit around for 30 years like other bonds?
No, you can cash them in. It's very easy to do it. But again, there's penalties if it's less than a year or less than 5 years. But you should look at the long term and get them in there. Now, I'm enthusiastic about bonds. And as a money coach, I think that everybody should take a look at I bonds. They should fit into your portfolio or your savings somehow. And unfortunately, brokers and investment advisors probably don't know much about I bonds because they don't push them because they don't make any commission on them.
They don't get any kickback off them, right?
So it's a good place to put your safe money, and I'd say take a look at them because they're a good deal, and 4.6% right now is good for cash.
It is really good. Treasury Direct.
TreasuryDirect.gov.
Yes, and if you have a question or comment or story for Bill about your financial situation, you could email him directly. What is your address?
MoneyCoachBill@AOL.com.
Thanks, man, for coming in.
I bonds now.
I bonds. Buy I bonds now, right.